I did not want to do this. When I sold my 4 exclusive one-hit Wonderland requests on Patreon, I did not really think it through. And that's how we got here. MMMBop. The reason I didn't want to do this is not because I don't like MMMBop. You'll hear my opinion on the song in a second. I didn't want to do this because Hanson are not one-hit wonders to me. Yeah, I've bent the definition of one-hit wonder more than once doing this show, but I would never even have considered Hanson for this. I asked my requester if she could please pick someone else, but she really had her heart set on me doing a Hanson episode, and you know me, I'm a soft touch. I'll do anything for my fans if they give me money. So yeah, we're doing this, even though again, they are not one-hit wonders. Or are they? I mean, I know they had other hits. I do. But if you asked me to name any of those hits or sing them, I couldn't do it. Most teen pop stars can point to an array of hit singles. There were a ton of Backstreet Boys songs, NSYNC songs. When the whole One Direction thing is over, which maybe it already is, I don't know. But when it is, people are still going to be able to remember more than one song by them. You know, there's the one about how they love you, girl, the other one about how they love you, and so on. The Hanson discography, meanwhile, is completely dwarfed by this one solitary tune whose name isn't even a real word. So it's really no surprise that I get this request so very often. Still, like I said, I'd never do it usually, because I totally remember them having other hits, even if no one else does. So this is a one-time thing here. I am breaking my rules just this once to bring you the biggest, not really but kinda one-hit wonders of the 90s, except for Vanilla Ice. Let's do it. Hanson. Zach, Taylor, and Isaac. 3 boys from Oklahoma who made it big. And what was their story before they hit? Well, before they became superstars, they had other interests like Mr. Potato Head, Sesame Street, Chocolate Milk. Zach got an award for perfect attendance in 2nd grade. Look, they were kids. There's not a lot there. They got piano lessons, learned some instruments, started a band, cut a demo, got a record deal. Pretty straightforward. Although you should check out the demo sometime. It starts out like a slow Stone Temple Pilots song or something. Bop, doo ba da ba da doo bop. Well, anyway. I wasn't listening to pop music in 1997, so I didn't really know anything about Hanson. I just knew I was supposed to hate them. Really, really hate them with all of my heart. You remember how much people hated Justin Bieber at the height of his hate-dom? Hanson was pretty darn close to that. I mean, look at them. They look like girls! This observation was hilarious in 1997, by the way. Making jokes about Hanson looking like girls was a guaranteed crowd pleaser. Maybe a lot of the backlash came from just what a shock they were in the gritty, grunge, and G-funk 90s. Nowadays, when people think of the late 90s, they think of TRL and the teen pop boom, but before Hanson, there hadn't been a teen pop star in years. Look, here's a Tiger beat from 1995. Actor, actor, actor. I actually don't know who that one was. But the point is, not a single musician. And then Hanson comes along and becomes everyone's favorite pretty boy, long blonde hair brothers band of the 90s. Sorry, Nelson. And all the complaining the Hanson haters of that year looks pretty sheltered now, because Hanson were very quickly replaced by a horde of dancing castrati with even stupider hair and didn't even play their own instruments. Which mattered for some reason. I don't really remember why. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. The point is that the 90s were about to take a sharp turn to the teeny bopper, and Hanson were the first ones to make that breakthrough. Why? Is it because the song is so good? Well, in my opinion, no. No. I didn't like it back in 97 because I was told not to like it, but the shine of 90s nostalgia that has kept it popular for so many does absolutely nothing for me. It still turns me off. I honestly never even listened to it the whole way through until doing this episode. I had no idea, for example, that all the choruses have DJ scratches between lines. God, the 90s are overrated. But listening to it now, I think I at least do understand why MMMBop got so very big. It has a lot to do with the earwormy nonsense chorus, but it's also more than that. There were plenty of stupid nonsense songs in the 90s, but they were all pretty straightforward. Blue Dabba Dee, for example, doesn't jerk you around. It announces right away that this is going to be one of the stupidest songs you've ever heard. MMMBop, meanwhile, yeah, it's bright and it's cheery, but it starts out sounding like it's a real song with lyrics and everything. Something about the fleeting nature of human contact, looking for a genuine connection, something like that. So what's the chorus that's gonna make this all hang together? Something like, I love you, I'll be there for you, will you be there, is there someone for me? Nope. Nothing but MMMBop. MMMBop doo bop bop doo bop. That's all you get. It's a trap! It's that swerve that makes the hook stay with you. You expect a real chorus and you get a face full of MMMBop instead. Your brain gets fixated on it because it can't handle the dissonance. And by the way, this video is hilariously bad. MMMBop feels like I've been ripped off, like I paid for a finished song and I got this instead. But obviously there are tons of people who disagree, and I do see why. There's something just ridiculously natural about MMMBop, some kind of accidental genius about it. The hook, it gets into you. And say whatever else about it, it sounds great. The production on this song is fantastic. But, look, I try not to be a snob about this stuff, but if you're gonna make this song so frothy and happy, for me it needs to be at least about something. This is just too cute, too chipper, too empty, like a Shirley Temple song with extra frosting. Like, ooh, look at us, we're young and adorable, so we can get away with this. I'm Nermal, the world's cutest kitty cat. Ugh. Obviously, like I said, Hanson didn't fail, at least not right away. But I get why many might have thought that, because MMMBop just seems like a one-hit wonder, right? Just like Blue Dabba Dee, Steal My Sunshine, Mambo No. 5, a billion other songs in the late 90s, it practically had one-hit wonder pre-stamped on it. They actually did stick around for a few years, but the way everyone remembers it, in MMMBop, they were gone. So on one level, I think their follow-up single, Where's the Love, is a better song than MMMBop, but it's just nowhere near as much of an earworm. It was always going to seem like a poor man's MMMBop, no matter how much their rabid fans shrieked at them. After MMMBop, Where's the Love is the only song people seem to remember if they remember any other songs, but that album, Middle of Nowhere, had several other singles as well. As is standard for pop acts, the third single was a ballad. Technically, this is their biggest hit after MMMBop. I have never heard of this song ever, not at the time and not since. And once I'm done with this episode, I'm fairly certain I will never hear it again. And while it's tempting to say that after their first album they disappeared, I was paying attention by this point, and I remember their second album being really successful. Not on the radio, not in album sales either, but they were on Total Request Live a lot.
Will be coming up as the top 10 videos.
At the time, TRL was the center of the pop universe, so to me it seemed like Hanson were still quite successful. In retrospect, that probably wasn't true. By 2000, Hanson were yesterday's boy band. Also, by then, they had all passed puberty, and the littlest one that got joked at the most was bigger than I was, and we were the same age. I also remember they got Weird Al to shoot one of their videos because they did it as a Titanic parody.
I'll never forget that night. It was right after I got my Hanson tattoo.
Look. Like I said, I was the same age as Hanson, and getting Weird Al to direct one of my videos is absolutely something I would have done if I were famous. Shockingly, the overlap between Hanson fans and Weird Al fans was quite small, so this didn't get them much play either. Sad. I don't know how to say this exactly, but I'm a huge Hanson fan, and I have been for years now. You see, Hanson never actually went away. Once the teenage girls stopped screaming, they just kept on keeping on, making music, releasing independent albums pretty consistently over the years. When they released one a while back, I decided to check out their entire discography, and I realized, wow, Hanson are actually like a real band. A good real band. And while their second album this time around, I mentioned it, it's actually really good, and I like those songs even at the time, but I think their follow-up in 2004 was their best. especially the single Penny and Me.
It's always pay me tonight, 'cause pay me not to roll windows down.
Apparently VH1 tried to make this a thing for a while, but they couldn't make it take off because, I don't know, we were all listening to whatever Lifehouse's current audio turd was at the time. Can you listen to this song and tell me that The Reason deserved to be a hit and this didn't? But yeah, they are just an absurdly good power pop band, and I feel like if they hadn't started their careers as teen idols, more people would take them seriously. Matter of fact, liking Hanson is something you have to hit mega hipster points to reach. Anyone can say they were in the band before they were famous. I was into Hanson after they were famous. I think I said Semisonic never got their due for similar reasons. A hit changes the way people see you. And to be fair, they're still pretty much the same band that made MMMBop. I mean, they're older now, they're more mature, but they never really changed. It's just their songs are a little less adorable and precocious, and they're more fleshed out and more soulful.
I've been thinking about something. I've been thinking about something.
And one thing that Hanson especially deserves credit for, they have never once done a single thing to embarrass themselves. Isn't that amazing? All you have to do is look at how Justin Bieber is currently dealing with fame to see how easily fame screws you up. The Hanson brothers have given every indication of being utterly normal kids who happen to have once been famous. They got married, have kids. Also, Isaac grew a beard that makes him look like James Hetfield Jr. They were in a Katy Perry video once and seriously deserve way more screen time. Corey Feldman doesn't need more attention, seriously. And they still work with Weird Al occasionally, which is certainly a plus in my book. Oh, yes. After I became a Hanson fan, I checked to see if I now liked MMMBop, and I didn't, but I'm glad they used the success of that song to keep their career going instead of fading away like billions of teen pop stars before them. If they didn't have MMMBop in their past, I think people would talk about them in the same breath as, you know, cooler bands like Spoon or Fountains of Wayne or the Fratellis or bands like that. So, yes, they deserve better, but it's hard to feel bad for them. Maybe they're not as famous as they were in '97, but they've used that momentum to propel what can only be considered a strong career. And they certainly don't seem like they resent their one big hit either. Truly one of my favorite bands I've ever covered on One Hit Wonderland. So yeah, this was a bit of a format change for this show, but no more freebies from this time out. The next request is the last one, and it better be a real one-hit wonder this time. That's a flat no, dude.